dare you speak in a language which I don't understand? If you want to eat in the same restaurant as me, English only.
r/EntitledParents.
Yes!
Our first story we'll be reading today.
What do you mean he doesn't speak English?
From user Nyeh. After that, entitled Mom calls the cops on my dad in a Walmart. From user Lainey Eisen. After that, the final straw. Entitled Mother. From user Snowy Bloom. And then we'll be wrapping up with ex-boyfriend's psycho stepmom. From user Isolde21. Thank you so much to our authors for letting us read your stories. And if you're an author who would like me to read your stories next, please submit them to the r/Mr. Reddit subreddit. And if you're new, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day.
What do you mean he doesn't speak English?
This happened about a few months back, on mobile by the way. I'm adopted from Korea and speak some Korean, but I understand it more than speaking. Understanding, yes, I cannot exactly speak it back very well. It is enough for some people to understand me. So, for background knowledge, I had a Korean exchange student at school, so I decided to take him out to a nice dinner in town. The exchange student said that he had not tried much American food yet, so I thought it would be a good idea to take him to an American diner. Man, was I wrong. Our cast. We've got me. We've got Korean exchange student. We've got the waiter, the greeter, and the entitled mom. And the kid, entitled mom's precious baby. Korean student had not taken much transport in America but taxi, so I took him on a bus. This is located near Washington, D.C. Me and Korean student take the bus down to the closest bus stop to the diner and go to the diner. We enter and get seated. Great seats and all. Korean student's English was not that great, so I had to use improper grammar to talk to him. What food you want? Student says in Korean. Hamburger. I hear it is very delicious. I nod my head and the waiter comes over. May I take your orders? I would like a hamburger with cheddar cheese, onion, lettuce, and bacon. Okay, and how would you like that cooked? Medium well. Waiter says to Korean student. What would you like? Korean student says in Korean. Hamburger with cheese, tomato, lettuce, and onion. I tell the waiter. He would like a hamburger with cheese, lettuce, and onion. Waiter asks student. How would you like it cooked? Korean says again in Korean. Same as him, points to me. He wants it medium well as well. Drinks? Coke. Choco milkshake. In Korean, choco means chocolate. I will go put your orders in. He takes our menus. Entitled mom and entitled kid enter.
Hello? I want to be seated with my child.
Everyone is staring at her now. Greeter was seating someone. Greeter goes to their post. Hi, may I?
It took you long enough. Seat me and my child now.
Would you like a high top table or?
I want to be seated.
Okay. Greeter gives entitled mom and kid a booth. They seem happy, so everyone goes back to eating. Waiter takes their orders and then brings our food out. I ask the Korean student, food good? He says in Korean, yes, so good. I think I want to eat another one. Finish first, maybe one more. I finished my plate. Korean student eats more and says in Korean, I don't know how you eat hamburger and fries so quick. I eat a lot of hamburger. Entitled mom seemed to hear an unknown language, and so she decides to come to our table.
Excuse me, but this,
pointing at Korean student,
person is not speaking English. Make him speak English.
He doesn't speak good English.
What do you mean he doesn't speak English?
Well, he's from Korea. He doesn't live here. He's an exchange student and only wants to try American food. I tell the Korean student in bad Korean, tell idiot, points to entitled mom, English stuff. Korean student says, you are idiot. I know speak English good. I from Korea. Entitled Mom looked shocked and put her hand over her mouth.
You don't talk to me that way. Do you know who I am?
Korean student looks very confused. I say in Korean, she asks who she is. Korean student nods and says, Yes, you are idiot. I'm trying not to burst out into laughter. Her kid comes over and asks what's wrong.
Don't worry, sweetie. I will make him speak proper English. No more Korean.
What? I think Korean is cool. Don't make him stop, please.
This is America. People should only speak English.
See, now probably if you look back into your ancestry, you will find that you are not just American and that you're probably a little Spanish. Entitled Mom is shocked.
How dare you talk to me like that? Do you know who I am?
Yeah, an entitled person. Now go sit down.
Shut up, lady. I try and eat.
Go back to China. You both probably belong there.
Entitled Mom grabs kid by the arm and goes back to her table. Waiter comes back after Entitled Mom and kid go back to their table. Was she bothering you? Yes, she was telling my friend not to speak his native language. Okay, I was watching, but didn't know if she was your family friend or something. Sorry that I did not intervene. I ask for the bill. He gets our bill and I look at it. He put a 20% discount on the bill. He also apologized again for not intervening and for any inconveniences. Poor waiter, probably has to deal with this BS all the time. I pay, and me and Korean student leave. On our way out, we hear from Entitled Mom.
You better go back to your home country. ICE will probably be coming after you soon.
Me and Korean student just ignore her from then on. We don't know what happened from there on. Next we've got Entitled Mom calls the cops on my dad in a Walmart. Hey, Mr. Reddit. I just started watching your videos, and it reminded me of this story. I'm on mobile, and English is my first language. Sorry for any grammar mistakes in advance. Background. I have a big family, 8 people in the house at most. We aren't the healthiest and get soda from stores from time to time. We like to collect the soda cans and return them at a Walmart or Kroger. I live in the Midwest to get some money that we can keep for special occasions. This was a few years ago, and I was a 12-year-old jerk preteen. Our cast. We've got me, my twin sister, my awesome dad, Karen, cop. One day, my dad decided to take sister and I to Walmart to return cans. There was a giant pile of trash bags in our garage of just soda cans. When we arrived, we went to get carts to pull the bags in to easily move them around. Sister and I love each other, but casually argue as normal sisters would. We were arguing while getting the carts. Dad pulled us aside and quietly yelled at us to knock it off. A few minutes later, when we were putting the cans in the machines, Karen came up to me and said,
It's going to be all right. My husband would never treat my kids like that.
I have social anxiety and didn't know how to properly handle this confrontation. Okay? She left me for a while and we continued to return cans. A few minutes later, we see Karen talking to the cop. Karen and the cop walked up to Dad and walked outside. Dad told us to continue putting the cans in the machine while he went outside to talk to Karen and the cop. Dad decided to tell us what happened when he talked to the cop because he didn't want us to be worried considering our age. The following conversation ensued. The cop asks, So, what's the problem?
This man was yelling and hitting his kids.
My 2 girls were fighting, so I took them aside and told them to knock it off. I'm sorry if that made you uncomfortable, lady. I was disciplining my kids.
Liar! My husband would never treat my kids like that. How dare you?
To the cop.
This man verbally harassed me after telling his daughter everything will be okay.
Excuse me, lady. I never said anything to you when you spoke to my daughter. He tells the cop. My daughter told me what she said to her. She freaked out as she has social anxiety and doesn't know how to deal with confrontation to absolute strangers. It's okay, sir. From the looks of it, you did nothing wrong. As to the way you're handling the situation, Everything is going to be okay, and nothing will happen to you or your children. He tells Karen, Miss, I'm going to need you to stay while I explain to you when you should call 911.
Excuse me?
Insert Mr. Reddit Re.
This man abused me and his kids. He shouldn't be able to walk away.
That's the end of the story. This Karen actually seemed to care about Sister and I, but the way she handled the situation could have been better. And this Karen was also 18 to 19 years old. Also, I experience these a lot because we live in a rather wealthy part of Michigan. If you want more stories, upvote this. You're more than welcome to use this story in a video. If you do, please message me when the video will be out. Heart emoji. Next we've got The Final Straw, entitled Mother. Hi again, Mr. Reddit. I don't know if you remember me, but I was so happy to see you posted my last story, and many others really wanted to hear The Final Straw. Once again, English is my first language. I am not on mobile, and the entitled Mother in this story is my own. Our cast. We've got me, my sister, nice housemate, entitled Mother, who many also pointed out was abusive. She definitely was. This happened only a month or so after the babysitting money incident, which we actually read just a few videos ago. It was around the end of September of 2010, 9 years ago, and I was 15. My mother had a terrible habit of taking shopping carts home when she finished grocery shopping. She would not even get her own personal cart online or in Walmart or something, as she was too cheap. In the past, we lived closer to the main city, so disposing of it was easier for her. However, in the place we were currently living during the said incident, we lived around 5 miles from any grocery or other stores. The closest store was the gas station about a mile down. When she told me to go take the shopping cart 5 miles uphill back to the store, I really did not want to do so. I asked, why couldn't I just go leave it close by somewhere? I know, not the best idea, but I was a dumb teenager. But she would not budge and told me I had to go. As I was getting ready to leave for the walk there and back, the nice housemate, who had been listening in during that whole conversation as it happened in the living room, told me something very frightening. She showed me a window she had opened online regarding being in possession of a shopping cart. The law basically said the person found to be in possession would be jailed, regardless of age, and fined around $5,000 to $10,000. I cannot remember which it was, you will forgive me. Needless to say, I was terrified of returning the cart, as the streets I would walk through always had police going up and down it. I did not want to be caught with it, so I did the only thing I thought I could. I went down the street for about 5 minutes with it to an alley and dumped it there. Now, I will admit that I take some blame in the situation, mostly for being so dumb to think that my mother would buy this. As I said, the full trip was 5 miles uphill and a 5-mile walk back downhill this time. At my fastest, it should have taken an hour. I walked about 10 minutes total to dump the cart and return home. I should have remained out for 3 hours, should have gone to Stacy's to chill, but I just wanted to go back home and play on my DS.
When are you going to go take the shopping cart to the store?
I just did.
Don't lie to me. Go bring the cart to the store. You haven't even been gone 15 minutes.
We went on like this for a while, until I finally broke down and told her about the law, not wanting to be fined, etc. She grabbed my arm so tightly that bruises formed and basically hissed at me.
Go return the cart, now!
I tried to get out of her arms, but she wouldn't let me go. Finally, I managed, told her no, then left the house again, running this time. But I was, and still am, a slow girl. So in no time, she caught me by my tank top back, the back neckline, and was yanking hard to get me back into the house. I remember my tank top, a very nice, pretty, and flowy one, ripping down the shoulder line and nearly breaking off. I remember crying and screaming for her to let me go. I have to say the next bit was a bit of a blur. At some point, a neighbor called the police, and I remember crying and sobbing and trying to get out of her grip. I remember the police coming and handcuffing me, and me trying to tell them my side, but hyperventilating too much. I was having trouble breathing and believe I was having a panic attack. The police told me that it was my fault for the entire incident and that I had to listen to anything my mother said, no matter what. I really think they thought I was making this story up, as it does seem ludicrous to claim that an entire fight like that happened over a shopping cart. Soon the police left, and my mother grounded me for another month. This incident had me so upset that I contemplated running away. A couple of days later, nice housemate told me that I should call 1-800-RUNAWAY as soon as possible, as if I told them the situation and that I was contemplating running away, they would handle things for me. A week later, I had an opportunity. My mother was going to a concert, and nice housemate was going to be out with her sons and boyfriend. So, entitled mom gave me back my phone for the night, telling me to call in case of an emergency. I waited 45 minutes after she left to make sure she wouldn't come back when I was calling, and then called. I explained everything, more than just the last two stories, and they filed a complete CPS report to get both me and sister out of the house. I deleted the call history once I finished the call. A slightly funny extra happened the next morning, Sunday morning. My mother burst into my room out of nowhere, demanding my phone. She told me to lie to the police after she got off the phone with them, to tell them I had been up and seen my nice housemate pour hot coffee on her on purpose. I didn't lie to the police and told them I had been sleeping and had not seen a thing. They decided to instead look my mother up and found out she had a warrant out for her arrest in another county. They ended up arresting her on the spot, and I fervently remember her saying that it was my fault. It was such sweet karma though. 2 days later, sister and I were picked up by the police and taken to a foster home. I have more stories before and after this too, and will post them as I can. Thanks so much for listening. And our final story of the day, ex-boyfriend's psycho stepmom. This is my first time posting. I listen to your YouTube channel all the time, and it inspired me to share. I actually created a Reddit account just to share this story of one of the most awful people I have ever had the displeasure of meeting. This takes place over the course of a few months during a time in my life which I was in the habit of making bad decisions. I was 19 when this all took place. At this point in my life, I had moved out of my parents' house and ended up pregnant with a previous ex-boyfriend's baby. That's another story that I'm not proud of, as it was actually completely out of character for me. My now 10-year-old daughter is doing very well, and her biological father is not in her life for the better. At the time this story takes place, I was about 5 months along and had ran into a guy that I went to elementary school with. I had always had a crush on him, but he moved away in junior high before I had the courage to say anything. We met again through a friend and started dating. He was aware of my situation and very supportive. At the time, I was very much into spirituality, and it played a prominent role in my life. This comes into play later. Now, his biological mom had always been pretty laid back and was very welcoming of my beliefs and my condition, as was his father. His stepmother, perfect Karen look by the way, seemed to be as well, at least with my pregnancy. However, what happened over the next few months really showed everyone how crazy stepmom actually was. She was an avid churchgoer, and I knew this from my previous interactions with her. I had asked my ex to not tell her about my spiritualism, as I had a feeling it would upset her. Little did I know that upset is an understatement. He told her anyway, against my wishes, for reasons that are still unknown to me. Next time I saw her, our interactions began to go downhill. On this day, we had gone over to watch a movie and eat dinner. Our cast. We've got entitled stepmom, ex's entitled psycho stepmother. We've got ex's dad. He was an okay guy. We've got ex, my ex. We've got entitled stepsister. She wasn't bad at first, but her mother did eventually rub off on her. And me. We had just pulled up, and entitled stepmom was waiting for us outside the house.
About time you show up. Dinner is almost ready.
Always has a fake smile plastered to her face. X says, "Yeah, sorry we are late," as I'm getting out of the car.
OP, I heard about your little problem.
Excuse me? I told her about your beliefs yesterday. Why would you do that? She asked what church you go to, and I didn't want to lie.
Don't worry, there is no need to be embarrassed. We will fix your little problem.
That phrase was my first clue that I was in for a world of pain. It wasn't spoken about anymore that night, but I was definitely on edge. If you're into spirituality, you will know the feeling of imminent doom I'm talking about when the wrong person is given such private info about you. After that, I was mad at my ex for a while, but eventually forgave him because he assured me she wouldn't be a bully towards me. A few weeks later, she had invited us to her church several times at this point, which we politely declined. She called my ex.
Why won't that devil worshipper let you come to church?
Mom, I don't like your church. She went to a very enthusiastic Pentecostal church. If you were raised around them, you will know what I'm talking about.
No, she's keeping you from God. I just know it.
No, Mom, this has nothing to do with her. I was willing to go to her church out of politeness, as other religions don't bother me. But he genuinely didn't want to go, and I wasn't going to force him or anything.
She's probably possessed you with demons. You're corrupted right now. You have to go to church with me to be saved from her evil influence. My pastor said you have to come to church with me so we can exorcise the demons. She's a bad person, and you have to break up with her.
Mom, she's not that bad a person at all. She just has different beliefs than you. She's been turning her life around, and we really don't need this right now. Goodbye. He hung up the phone, and from his expression, I knew what the conversation was about. I told him that I don't want bad blood with entitled stepmom, and that we could go to church with her to keep her off our back. He said he didn't want to, because he knew she had something sinister planned and didn't want to stress me out because I was pregnant and it was bad for the baby. I agreed, and we went on with our life, but she had more devious plots than I realized. Over the course of the next few weeks, she went further down the rabbit hole and made a good attempt to take us with her. She kept stalking my MySpace. It was still big at the time, and sending me nasty messages trying to get me to convert or just plain attacking me. Her daughter, who I thought had no issues with me, started ganging up on me with her mother. This is a message conversation on MySpace between us three. Entitled stepsister.
My mom said you are trying to put curses on her. You need to stop or I'm gonna call the police.
No. I don't believe in curses. Plus, what cop would answer that call?
We are going to call the cops and say you are passing out drugs.
Why would I do that?
Because that's what evil people like you do. You just corrupt others with your demon horde.
You know I've been saving all of our conversations, right? So it won't work. I thought you were a nice person when I met you, but you're proving me wrong. I don't want to fight with you for X's sake. He doesn't deserve this, and frankly, I don't either. I've done nothing to you. I respect your beliefs. Why can't you do the same for me?
Because you're evil and doing wrong. We know you talk to the devil and are corrupting my brother. You're probably going to hurt your baby when she's born too.
Okay, you're both being absolutely crazy. I'm going to end this conversation. I logged off and told X what was said, and he called his dad. You need to tell entitled stepmom and entitled stepsister to stop harassing OP. She's done nothing wrong, and they keep harassing her. I don't want a relationship with them if they keep doing this. X's dad says, You know I can't control her when it comes to religion. She already has the church on her side. Dad, she's already threatening to call the cops on OP for bogus charges. I won't let her go that far. Just go to church with her every once in a while. That's all she wants. She's taking it too far and needs to stop. X's dad says, while they're screeching in the background, Apparently, you're not allowed over here since you're still dating her. I'll talk to entitled stepmom. This is getting ridiculous. This woman was obsessed. She would come by his house speaking in tongues, claiming she was exorcising demons that I supposedly brought. She tried to get him back together with his ex and got her involved in harassing me and had her call him constantly. She even got his biological mother in on it, half-heartedly, however. She was using every avenue to break me, and it was working. There were times I felt so mentally drained, I was in tears. I have months' worth of hate saved on my hard drive for my own safety. We were planning on a restraining order. Soon we found out entitled stepsister and her husband were expecting that if I fought back or stood up for myself in any way, they would claim child endangerment. Keep in mind, I was heavily pregnant throughout all of this, and according to them, I wasn't Christian. My pregnancy didn't matter because my child was supposedly tainted. At this point, I was done. My ex and I decided to move out of state with my parents, who were beyond supportive by the way, and get away from the chaos of my past and his crazy family. I've gone on for a while now, and I will tell you the aftermath. My ex and I broke up because he ended up cheating on me 1 month after I had my daughter, and a few months later, I heard that even after we broke up, she was still obsessed. It ended up utterly destroying her marriage, and ex's dad kicked her out. This whole episode of my life was a nightmare that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, except maybe entitled stepmom. She did a lot more heinous things that I didn't mention, but it was months of pure torture. All of this is true. There is someone out there that really messed up. I don't know where she's at anymore, but she's still out there, probably still talking about the evil spiritualist that destroyed her marriage with a fake curse. Be careful. And congrats to our re-generals of the day, Nitty Draws, Jimmy Bender, Benjamin, and Michelle. Become our next re-generals by dropping as many reads as you can in the comments below. That's all for now, but don't be blue. I'll be back soon with more stories for you. Remember to listen to Mr. Reddit every night so your dreams will be wonderful like you are and bright.